Let's welcome in the first wave of panelists, and we got 10 of us on set today. I'm almost out of water bottle. English Mountain has to provide more water bottles. We have down there Jimmy Himes, thank you.
Thank you.
Back, man, you are quick off the disabled list. You're pretty good, man.
Yeah, I bounce back quickly.
You know that the number one ability is availability. That's Mike Stoll, VFL. Mike Stoll back from a car wreck. Do you want to get into all your injuries?
No, just fractured pelvis.
Just the that's
two
all
places.
Yeah.
But hey, I'm not going to lay down and wimp out like some of these guys out there on the field.
And you're
I'm
not
come back and I'm going to fight.
Yeah, but I'm paying you such NIL money.
That's
here.
true.
All right.
Yeah, I didn't get NIL money back then.
VFL Marlon Walls, VFL Will Overstreet. Thank you guys for being here as well. All right, as I said, Tennessee wins with dynamic defense. Man, again, the offense spotty again. Maybe the reasons for the spottiness on offense were a little different, but I want to get your top takeaways. Will Overstreet, I'll start with you, and let's kind of go around the circle here.
I think it's that, right? You have a sputtering, streaky offense that's kind of like a old Honda Civic out there. It's not a Ferrari. It's not a Lamborghini. It's getting you to point A to point B right now, but that's about it, and that's all you can say for it. And, the reason changes why. You've had offensive line, you've had quarterback. Well, offensive line and quarterback weren't really the issues yesterday. Wide receivers can't catch, can't hold on to some touchdown throws. So it's a really, at this point in the season, it's like you said, it is what it is. You have that paired with a national championship level defense. And that is what you have in this team. And you're just sitting there going, man, I hope they can put it together. But at this point in the season, you're just wondering, can it be put together?
Yeah, I get the feeling there was all kinds of talk this week that, okay, well, this is a breakout game. We talked about it here last week. It's a breakout game. I don't think this offense has a breakout. It may have one game where it explodes and everything clicks. I don't think they're going to turn some switch and all of a sudden, oh, now it's going to work for the last 4 games. I just think you are what you are at this point. Marlon, your big takeaway.
Big takeaway is Josh Heupel said something at the end of the game when they interviewed him, and he said, good news for Tennessee fans is we have not had our best game yet. And so my big takeaway is just watching us last night, a lot of what Will said. You keep waiting on this offense to explode because that's what we're used to in a Josh Heupel offense. And then you pair that with a championship-level defense, and you just find yourself constantly waiting. And so for me, it's I keep waiting week to week to see what this offense is going to turn into. Or, again, that question, like you just said, is this who we are? And we just have to come accustomed to that. And I hope not, because for me, it's, all right, what happens when the defense don't have a great game? Can the offense bail them out? And so that's a big takeaway.
Yeah, for me, my takeaway is you look at what Tennessee has done, but you look around all of college football, right? I mean, it is as competitive as it's been in years. And so I think the way that Tennessee's going out there, they're struggling. Alabama in 1992 had one of the best defenses you'll ever see, and their offense stunk until the very last couple games of the year, and then they clicked. I don't think Tennessee gets there. Kudos to Dylan Sampson for what he's done. 142 yards rushing. His longest run was 17 yards. Right? He's averaging 5 yards a carry, and his longest was 17. He gets yard after yard after yard. With the offensive line is a little bit better, but he's getting everything he can get.
He's now at like 33 carries on the year through 8 games, more than Jalen Wright had last year when he led the team in carries for the entire season.
Wow.
I mean, 27 carries, 26 carries, 27 carries the last 3 weeks. He's doing it. I hate that they have to keep leaning on him to do that, though. Jimmy, takeaways.
My takeaway is that I think, Nico Iamaleava has turned the corner. I think he played a really good second half against Alabama. He was 28 of 38, 292 yards. If you take away the drops, he's going to have 400 yards and 4 touchdowns. I thought he played really well. I thought he was decisive. I thought he was poised, confident. And I really liked the way he played. I thought it was the best game he's played, in my opinion, by far against competent competition.
And I think the key to that is him running. I think it's an absolute. I think there's a difference in the game when you see him get into a scramble or they've called a run for him and they've told him to open that up. And I think that's a difference from where he was earlier this year.
I thought the touchdown to Kitzelman was one that stood out in that it was designed to go here. He kind of rolls out the other way. Kitzelman reads it, does the Dwight Clark thing for those old enough to remember it, follows his quarterback, gives him a target down there. Okay, that's one where you went out and you made the play happen. I just wonder what that does for him moving forward. Is yesterday's performance going to help him confidence-wise?
I think so. And the other part of that is, so Tennessee gets the ball on their own 9-yard line in the fourth quarter. And the first 3 plays are passes. And I'm thinking they're going to hand off. Heupel is showing more trust in him. Now, he would have done that with Hendon Hooker a few years ago. But early in the year, he wouldn't have trusted, I don't think, Nico to open that series with 3 passes and then to hit a couple of 3rd and 7s on that touchdown drive, which ended up giving Tennessee a decent lead. So I think that I asked Heupel, did you open the playbook? I should have said, did you show more aggressiveness with Nico? And I think that he did on that particular drive.
Go ahead, Mike.
Well, I was going to say the last half of the Alabama game, he's more comfortable. He has an open week to process a little bit more. And then he come out, and you look at early on where he was distributing the ball. He was distributing the ball out into the flats to his tight ends in different routes.
They opened the game, yeah.
He's seeing the field better versus locking into one guy and trying to get the ball.
They also did a nice job starting that game, though, by giving him – they tried to get him into a rhythm early, which I thought was clear, and I thought that was smart. The offense as a whole, though, I mean, I was talking yesterday that it's kind of like Vol offense bingo because there's 3 – just see how many drives you get a sack, you get a dropped pass, or you get a penalty specifically on an offensive lineman.
B1. That's B1.
Or an offensive lineman.
B1.
Yeah.
Bingo.
Well,
B1
and here's
right
the
there.
thing. There were a couple drives yesterday where you hit all 3 in one drive.
Yeah.
I mean, they continue to kind of he may be getting better, and that's good. The offensive line may be getting a little bit better, and I think that's helped by they're moving the pocket a little bit more. But anyway, I do think they're not good enough to overcome their own mistakes. A bad play finishes them off, and it's typically sack, drop pass, penalty on an offensive lineman.
Or fumble.
Often penalty on John Campbell. Fumble.
Simpson's fumble.
So that's a problem. The defense, though, and I've said this before, we've got to be quick here, but the most impressive thing to me is we've all watched the NFL, we've all watched college football. Great defenses paired with a so-so offense. Eventually, the great defense breaks. It yields. It's like, I can't keep doing this for you. You keep giving the ball back. I can't keep it up. This team keeps it up. This is 8 straight games now, 9 if you go back to the bowl, where they've given up fewer than 20 points. Let me give you just a look here. This is interesting. Now, these are the defenses of the last 5 playoff champions nationally, all right? And it shows you how many times they gave up 20 points. Michigan last year gave up 24 points a couple of times. Georgia in 2022, they gave up 20 points 5 times. They gave up 41 to Ohio State, 30 to LSU. Georgia in 2021 with that great defense, they gave up just 1 game of 20 points. That was 24 to Alabama. Alabama's last national championship team, they had 5 games where they gave up at least 20. Ole Miss got 48, Florida got 46, and 3 teams got 24. LSU in 2019, now that was an offensive team, but this was a national championship team that gave up 38, 38, 28, 20, 41, 37, 20, 28, 25. You have not given up 20 yet.
It's crazy.
That is an unreal. I don't know if people are appreciating that. And look, eventually Georgia, somebody's going to get you with they're going to score 20 on you. But to be at this part of the season and to have run through this, you said it's a historic level defense. I mean, it really is generationally good.
Yes, it's national championship level good. I mean, like, this is what can win a playoff series, what can win a national championship. This level of defense is that good. There's no doubt about it. Hands down, it's got that level of play.
And I would say the good news is they're used to playing this way defensively. They're used to, hey, we're probably not going to get as many points in the first half. They'll find a way to click it. Let's continue to do what we do on defense. So that's a good thing coming out of that.
And the secondary's played better than I thought it would.
Yeah.
They've done a nice job.
That's been the biggest surprise of the year, I think.
They tackle. That's the biggest thing is they tackle. They get a guy on the ground. If he makes a catch, you don't see 5 guys bouncing off and guy running loose through the world.
All right. When we come back, who was the best player on the field? We know the answer to that, so we'll talk about a bunch of honorable mentions. We'll also talk about the worst decision. What was that last night? We'll talk about the biggest disappointment from last night. Oh, I have a feeling where that's going to go. All right. When we come back, that's what we're talking about on the Sports Source. Come back.